Hello, it's me, Mike, with HPDS. This video will be a reading and a study of Leviticus chapter 10. Leviticus chapter 10. And what I like to start these videos off, of course, is I will go ahead and start this video off with the prayer to the Lord. And I will pray by reading the Lord's Prayer out of the book Matthew chapter 6. And it reads, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So, Leviticus chapter 10, I'll go ahead and give a brief recap of Leviticus. Remember, the book of Leviticus has been talking about how the offerings and the sacrifices are to be made. So the first few chapters 1 through 7, were about these things, about the laws regarding the offerings, the peace offering, the burnt offering, the sin offering, trespass offering, so forth. And then the last couple of chapters 8 and 9, have been about the consecration of Aaron and his sons. So remember, Aaron and his sons from the tribe of Levi, they have been chosen as the priests. They are the priests of the people of Israel. And so Aaron is in charge. He's the brother of Moses. Keep that in mind. And remember, in Exodus, Moses was compared as God to Aaron, and Aaron as the prophet to the people. So that's kind of what God is doing here. And so the last chapter 9, they actually began the first offerings for their tabernacle. This tabernacle being built through Exodus, of course. They have their tabernacle. They've consecrated their priests. And in the last chapter, they've started making offerings for the people. So we will now go, what I'll go ahead and do now is I'll go ahead and we will look at this outline for Leviticus 10, which is called Aaron's Sons. And in this chapter, we're going to see it's 20 verses. In verses 1 through 2, we're going to see that Nadab and Abihu are killed. So I did make mention in the last couple of videos that something is going to happen to Aaron's sons because something goes wrong. So that is what happens. Nadab and Abihu are killed, which are two of Aaron's sons. We're going to read about that. And then verses 3 through 7, we'll see that God will be glorified. And 8 through 11, priests are not to drink wine. And 12 through 15, eating in the holy place. And then verses 16 through 20, Moses gets angry with Aaron's sons. So something, like I said, this is, as soon as they start using this tabernacle, remember I made mention that it starts off with basically the priests admitting that the priests and the people are admitting that they are sinful right away. That's the first things that happen. And of course, here is what happens when you're sinful. Bad things happen. So I will go ahead and read, as I normally do. I'll read through the whole book of Leviticus chapter 10, or the whole chapter of Leviticus 10, and I'll read it straight through, and then I'll reread it line by line and discuss it further with the Holy Spirit and kind of really explain what's going on here. So I will go ahead and begin right now. Leviticus chapter 10 reads, And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. And there went out fire from the Lord, and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Then Moses said unto Aaron, This is it that the Lord spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come nigh me, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. And Moses called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said unto them, Come near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. So they went near and carried them in their coats out of the camp, as Moses had said. And Moses said unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar his sons, Uncover not your heads, Neither rend your clothes, lest ye die, and lest wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which the Lord hath kindled. And ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. For the anointing oil of the Lord is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moses. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, saying, Do not drink wine nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. And that ye may put difference between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. And that ye may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord had spoken unto them by the hand of Moses. And Moses spake unto Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, his sons that were left, Take the meat offering that remaineth of the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and eat it without leaven besides the altar, for it is most holy. And ye shall eat it in the holy place, because it is thy due, and thy sons' due, of the sacrifices of the Lord made by fire, for so I am commanded. And the wave breast and heave shoulders shall ye eat in a clean place, thou and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, for they be thy due, and thy sons' due, which are given out of the sacrifices of peace offerings of the children of Israel. The heave shoulder and the wave breast shall they bring with the offerings made by fire of the fat, to wave it for a wave offering before the Lord. And it shall be thine and thy sons with thee, by a statute forever, as the Lord hath commanded. And Moses diligently sought the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt, and he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, which were left alive, saying, Wherefore have ye not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing it is most holy, and God hath given it to you to bear the iniquity of the congregation, to make atonement for them before the Lord? Behold, the blood of it was not brought in with the holy place. Ye should indeed have eaten it in the holy place, as I commanded. And Aaron said unto Moses, Behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, and such things have befallen me. And if I had eaten the sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sight of the Lord? And when Moses heard that, he was content. So that was chapter 10 of Leviticus in its entirety. And this one is a bit dramatic. It's pretty intense here, what's going on. We see that right at the beginning, Abihu and Nadab offer strange incense. So remember, back in Exodus, they were told about a type of incense that they were supposed to actually use. And it says they offered strange fire. And I want to take a look. I want to say it was, like Exodus 20-something and 30-something. Olive oil for the lamp. Let's see. Tabernacle. It had to be Exodus, 28 maybe? 28. Had to be 29. Yep, it was Exodus 30, it looks like. Back in Exodus 30, verses 34 through 38, that's when we read about the sweet incense. So there was a certain type of incense they were supposed to make, and clearly that's what they did not do. And they die for it, and that's what we're reading about. So, yeah, let me go ahead and get right into it. I'll just jump right into it. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. So remember, back in, like I said, Exodus, I believe chapter 30, they were told that this altar of incense in here in the holy place, that they were supposed to put a certain particular mixture, and nobody else was supposed to, in all of Israel, nobody else was supposed to use this mixture. And they were supposed to put that mixture on the altar of incense. And of course, I don't remember the exact formula, so I don't know what it was. It had something to do with frankincense and myrrh, I think, and some oil, something along those lines. And nobody else was allowed to use it. And clearly what they did is they put different kind of incense on it, or they made their own kind of incense. They did not follow those directions. They just put whatever they felt like putting in, apparently. And they offered that strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. And there went out fire from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. So chances are they were in this holy place right here. They come up to this altar of incense. They put the incense there, and it is not the right incense. And of course, fire comes out and kills them. And they died before the Lord right there. Then Moses said unto Aaron, so that's right away, that's what we're reading. They get killed. And then we're going to see that God will be glorified. The Lord will be glorified. Then Moses said unto Aaron, this is that the Lord spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come nigh me, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. So God is saying that this is a serious business. The Lord will be sanctified no matter what. And he will be glorified. He will be taken seriously. He will not be made a joke of. He will not be disobeyed even in the slightest bit. They are to do exactly as they have been told. He will be sanctified and glorified. And Moses called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said unto them, come near, carry your brethren. So this is what Aaron's cousins, Mishael and Elzaphan. And so his cousins come, and the cousins are basically, this was Aaron's cousins coming to pick up Aaron's sons. Carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. So these two guys are just the two brothers that just put in this wrong incense. They're burned to death, and now they're just taken out of the camp. So they went near and carried them in their coats out of the camps, as Moses had said. So they pulled them out just like Moses said. And Moses said unto Aaron, hold on just a moment. Moses said unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar his sons. So this is uncover not your heads, neither rend your clothes, lest ye die, and lest wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which the Lord hath kindled. So this is what I was saying. It gets pretty intense here, is that they are not allowed to mourn here. The Aaron and his other sons that survive, they see their brothers, and their son, Aaron sees his sons, and Eleazar and Ithamar see their brothers. They all see them burned to death right here just for making we would even, like I said, even today, you might consider that just a simple mistake. Think about if you're working at, I don't know, a branded food restaurant, like you're working at a big fast food chain, and they got their signature burger, and you're supposed to make it a certain way. And if you don't, you get burned to death. Think about that. That's that's what a lot of people might say, and a lot of people give, they have a lot of hatred or whatever in their heart, or misconceptions in their heart. And they might think that, well, why does God let bad things happen? And this would be a case of that. This would look like that. Like some people might look at this and say, why would a loving God let this happen? They see their kinsmen died, two of them in fire, probably a brutal death. It was probably very violent looking, very scary, probably, quickly and just unexpectedly, because they did not offer the right kind of incense. So of course, people might take this out of, misrepresent that to be that, but that is not what this is. This is showing perfection. Like the smallest mistake can lead to death. We read that back in Genesis, back in chapter 2, chapter 3, when Adam and Eve eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, of course. And, they ate of a plant, just what some people just call the apple. She eats the apple, they eat the apple, and now everybody dies. And same thing here. They offer the wrong kind of incense, and they both die. And not only do they die, God does, their brothers are not allowed to bewail. Only the people are allowed to, but they themselves, God tells them, don't you mourn, or else more bad will happen. Just don't, lest wrath come upon all the people. So they had to, and ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. So he's telling them, don't do it. Just whatever you do, even though you think this is sad, this is perfection. Those guys messed up. They may have been your brothers. They messed up, but don't mourn them. They messed up. Let the people see it for what it is, that they messed up. But you guys, you keep being perfect because you've got the anointing oil of the Lord is upon you. So they did according to the word of Moses. So this is, I would call this in today's world kind of hardcore. This is what we would call, my generation or whatever might use the word is pretty hardcore. They just saw their brother, and Aaron just saw his sons just die, and it's like they don't show any emotion. Don't show any emotion. Don't get worried. And don't even leave. Don't even worry about handling. Let the uncles and your cousins come, and they're the ones that came and pulled the bodies out. But you guys, you got to stay right in here, or else you're gonna die, or you're gonna have wrath come upon the people. So they are put into these priests don't have a simple job like today's priests, modern priests. These guys, they could die for doing something wrong. So moving on, 8 through 11, the priests are not to drink wine. So now we're moving into even further stipulations on these priests. So these priests couldn't mourn. They couldn't do any. They're not supposed to do anything wrong. Can't even put the wrong kind of incense there. You could die. Do not drink wine nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. So this is also kind of, I find this strange, in today, I think I made somewhat mention of it of like the Catholic Church, the Pope in them, even though, he's not, they claim to be a Christian church and they claim to be, following Jesus. But of course, I don't really want to get into it right now. But of course, they're more of a false church, of course, and all the stipulations that they have with their priests, and of course, it's kind of a stereotype to say that Catholic priests, everybody knows the Catholic priests aren't supposed to be married or have children, or they wear their little whatever that thing is called, and their white necktie and their black priests garments and so forth, and they're not supposed to marry, and the nuns aren't supposed to be with men and so forth. But these guys weren't that way. These priests were allowed to have children, but they weren't allowed to drink wine or strong drink. So here we have the Lord saying, yeah, you can have some children, just don't drink any wine. And then in today's modern world, we have these Catholic priests that are pretty much the opposite. They don't have children, and they always drink this wine during their, whenever you go to Mass or whatever. When these Catholics go to Mass, they do this. I forget what it's called because I haven't done it. I've only been to a Catholic church a couple of times in my life. And they put the cracker in their mouth and they give them a little drinking of wine. And so these priests are drinking wine and abstaining from women. And of course, this leads to this whole concept that we know nowadays that, a lot of priests have problems, with, and just to get kind of graphic here, there's people make jokes about the altar boys, what priests and the altar boys do, what the priests do to the altar boys, or, how they're out there molesting people or molesting young children in particular is we know that the Catholic Church has been many times in trouble for this, for hiding the fact that a lot of these guys that are supposed priests are under these ideas that they're allowed to drink wine, but they're not allowed to be with women, and it leads to sinful actions in which they molest people, young children. But that is not what God said. God said they were allowed to have children and be, with the wife, but they weren't allowed to drink wine. So that's something different. People today, they do drink the wine. The priests today drink the wine, but they're not supposed to, according to God, the Lord here. When they go into the tabernacle, lest ye die, it shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. So this is forever. None of these people, the priests of Israel, were supposed to be drinking wine. And that ye may put a difference between holy and holy, and between unclean and clean. And just like I was saying, it's a stereotype for Catholic priests molesting young children. And he's telling you right here that these priests aren't supposed to drink wine, or else, and that's how they tell the difference between holy and unholy, between clean and unclean. And modern priests, of course, are drinking wine, and therefore they're not putting a difference between holy and unholy and so forth. So that's interesting to know, because of course I've drinking wine, I've drinking alcohol, I've been drunk before. I don't recommend it, obviously. I don't think it's something to be proud of. It is a sin, and it's tells you, God is telling you right here. And when you are drunk and when you are drinking alcohol, it's pretty easy to put away the difference between holy and unholy and between clean and unclean. That should be known by anybody who's ever been drunk a few times. You should know that when you've been drinking, you often don't know the difference between right and wrong. Just keep that in mind. So let's see, verses 8 through 11. And that ye may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord had spoken unto them by the hand of Moses. So Aaron and his sons, by being the priests, their whole job was not just to do these sacrifices and these offerings. They were also supposed to be telling the people and explaining the children of Israel all the statutes. So they're the lawyers. They're the people that are guarding the law. They're supposed to tell the law, explain the law to the people. So keep that in mind. So they're supposed to be doing everything that is right, or else, the slightest mistake could kill them. Drinking alcohol would be something that would pervert them. That is what the Lord is telling them. Do not make mistakes. Do what you're told, lest ye die. And don't drink alcohol, lest you don't know the difference between right and wrong. Because you are responsible for teaching the children of Israel the law. So 12 through 15, eating in the holy place. So now after this has happened, Moses spake unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar, his sons that were left. So the two sons that were left, Moses tells them, take the meat offering that remaineth of the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and eat it without leaven beside the altar, for it is most holy. So they're supposed to eat this offering that they just made. And ye shall eat it in the holy place, because it is thy due, and thy son's due of the sacrifices of the Lord made by fire, for so I am commanded. So Moses says that even though this has happened, go ahead and take what's yours and go in here to this holy place and eat it. And the wave breast and heave shoulder shall ye eat in a clean place, thou and thy sons and thy daughters. Well, that's what I did just read this part. Oh, no, I did it. For they be thy due and thy sons' due, which are given out of the sacrifices of peace offerings of the children of Israel. So remember, keep that in mind. These peace offerings are the portions that go to the priests. And in the future, we'll probably see that they're all the offerings are basically going to the priests. When the priests become perverted and they start, they've taken over. They've kicked God or the Lord away. They've dethroned him. They've taken him out of his high spot, and they've placed themselves in the high spot by the time Jesus comes around, and they're just taking all the offerings from the children of Israel. But obviously, it was just the peace offerings. Most of these other offerings are supposed to be burnt completely. So let's see, 12 through 15. And the heave shoulder and the wave breast shall they bring with the offerings made of fire of the fat to wave it for a wave offering before the Lord. And it shall be thine and thy sons with thee by a statute forever, as the Lord hath commanded. So remember, he's telling them, even though this happened, go ahead and take what's yours and take it over here and do what you're supposed to do and eat it in the holy place. So that's what Moses is telling them to do. That's the statute. And so in this last part, we're going to see that Moses gets angry with the sons, because of course they don't eat it. And we'll find out that why they don't, because Moses diligently sought the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt. So Moses goes ahead and continues the process even after this happened with Nadab and Abihu. But he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, which were left alive, saying, wherefore have ye not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing it is most holy? And God hath given it to you to bear the iniquity of the congregation, to make atonement for them before the Lord. So, of course, after this happens, they do not eat the sin. They don't eat it like they're supposed to, or like they were told. It was theirs to do, to eat, and he gets mad. Why didn't y'all eat it? Why didn't you accept it? Or what so forth. Behold, the blood of it was not brought in within the holy place. Ye should indeed have eaten in the holy place, as I commanded. Say. So basically, he was telling them this was done correctly. this part, even though Nadab and Abihu didn't do it right, this part was done correctly. And so you should have eaten it. But of course we get there why they didn't. And Aaron said unto Moses, Behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, and such things have befallen me. And if I had eaten the sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sight of the Lord? So he's saying, basically that we're pretty sad here. We don't think we would, it would have been offered or accepted properly because of what happened today. And of course, when Moses heard that, he was content. So, yeah, they're saying that all this happened and bad things have befallen me. And if I ate the sin offering today, should I, basically it wouldn't, even if I ate it, it wouldn't have been. So even though it was done correctly, if I would have eaten it, he says, it wouldn't have been accepted because obviously bad things have befallen him. And it's probably not even in his heart to have wanted to do it. And of course, you're supposed to give everything. All your offerings are supposed to be given out of your heart, you're supposed to do it willingly, is what earlier in Leviticus it had told us. Any of these offerings need to be made willingly. So clearly, Aaron probably did not make that particular sacrifice very willingly. And so, of course, it is accepted that Moses finds this acceptable. So right away, we're seeing what happens bad when these priests do something wrong. So, but that is kind of it right there. That is Leviticus chapter 10. Nadab and Abihu end up dying because of their mistake. And of course, it seems like a simple mistake. Like I said, I would kind of equate it to working at a restaurant today and, making the signature burger, putting pickles on a burger when it doesn't have pickles, for example. And they get killed. They die. It's pretty intense. God tells them he will be glorified. So it is a serious business to be a priest. It is not for the faint of heart. You need to be strong in order to be in that position. And God is making sure of it. And they aren't supposed to be drinking wine. The priests should not be drinking wine because it, obviously, we all know, a lot of people, if you drink, what the effects of alcohol. And it does take away your ability to know right from wrong, to distinguish right from wrong, unclean from clean, and so forth. So keep that in mind that's, the priests were not supposed to drink wine for the benefit of everybody else. Everybody else benefited from them not drinking wine. They're not supposed to make mistakes, can't offer the wrong kind of incense. You better offer or else these things could happen. God could kill you right there. You could make a mistake and die. That's what it is to be a priest, to be perfect and to do exactly as you are told by your Lord. But like I said, I'll go ahead and end this video here. That was Leviticus chapter 10. So per usual, I'll go ahead and say, if you like what I'm doing, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for future chapter by chapter Bible study. With any luck, I'll get through the entire Bible chapter by chapter in this fashion, before Jesus Christ returns, obviously. But I pray that we all bless Jesus Christ, and may Jesus Christ bless all of us. Amen.